Hello! Welcome and welcome back to Paper, Paint, and Spaceships, the YouTube channel where I do whatever the heck I want. Today is Salvage Storytime, and we're we're kind of going to be jumping around a bit. I've tried to record this like 5 times. And realized that I didn't like the ship that I was taking, which was the Reclaimer. It's this big boy. I will show you guys some footage of it. Kind of a tub, though. I hate flying it, I will be honest. And so we're just gonna go with my light salvage ship, and I hope that that does better. I will say that the Reclaimer probably wouldn't be as annoying if the docking collars worked, which they don't, so you can only store it or call it from a planetary surface. And that is such a pain in the butt. Look at her. She's so pretty. Alright, so while we are here, let's no, light ready. There we go. So while everything is powering up, I'm going to look for a salvage mission, and we will get going. I probably should bring a... Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. We are not in this to make money. We are just going to have something to do while I tell you a story. And this story, I have already mentioned what it is. Let's see. I'm looking for MIC L1 or L2. Not MIC L4. This is going to be the Microtech Lagrange point. Go through... Yeah, let's do that one. So, while we're flying out here, I will try to tell you the story of the eclipse. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I can show you pictures all day long, but I'm going to be honest, that doesn't capture it. So my partner and I went to Ohio, which was in the path of totality, and I have family there, so it made it a really easy decision to go and spend some time with them and see the eclipse. I have never seen a total solar eclipse. I've seen annular eclipses. I've seen like 96% eclipses. But I'd never seen a total solar eclipse, and that side of my family is really well equipped to observe and enjoy, shall we say. My uncle has all kinds of cool gadgets like time-lapse cameras and a little solar observatory, and it made sense to go and spend the time with them. My aunt and uncle live in a small college town in rural Ohio that I feel like it has kind of been a critical aspect, or like a major part of me becoming an adult. I call it my Stars Hollow, even though I have never lived there, and this was kind of hilariously the first time that I had visited when students had been there. So that was kind of a new experience. This was also the first time that I had visited since my dad passed away, and it is his brother, and there is so much about that town that makes me think of him. And so I felt a lot of things on this trip, a lot of things. Um, so the eclipse was on Monday at 3 p.m. roughly, and where we were, there would be about 30 seconds of totality, and so we drove probably about 20 minutes, if that, to a neighboring town and set up in like a Walmart parking lot with like camp chairs and snacks and water and sunglasses and our eclipse glasses. And we were expecting about 75 seconds, I think, of totality. So I was stoked. Like I said, I have never seen an eclipse before. Well, I have never seen a total eclipse before. And I was just champing at the bit to see what the big deal was, because like I'd heard that it is so much different than what you experience even with like 90% of totality. It's totally different. And boy, they were right. So leading up to the eclipse is really kind of fascinating because it's like color drains from everything around you. And I think that it is just starting to look a little bit like dusk, except the sun is still high overhead, and so your brain doesn't know what's going on. And so it perceives color differently. It just kind of washes out, and like blues and greens become a little bit more vibrant and reds kind of fade, and all of that is psychological, but it's a pretty well established effect, I guess. But the other thing that was really noticeable was that the temperature dropped and the wind started blowing because of that temperature gradient, right? Like it was a really warm day. It was probably in, I think, the low to mid 70s, which was pretty warm for the beginning of April. And I was ready for it to not be that warm. So as the light changed and the temperature dropped, we were watching the occlusion of the sun by the moon with our eclipse glasses and through the solar telescope that my uncle had. Now this shows like a projection of the sun onto another surface, and so we had kind of like a wonderful little stand that was holding a box, like a white box that we were projecting the image of the sun onto. And it was like just a Walmart cart. But you could see a couple of sunspots. There weren't very many, which I think was, I'm not going to say unusual, but I think people were expecting this eclipse to be a little bit less spectacular because of the lack of like flares and coronal mass ejections and sunspots. It was going to be less interesting. Well, that was not quite how I would describe it. When we got to totality, I I don't I don't know how to describe it. I mean, like we've we've all seen pictures of it. We have all seen the diamond ring images, and we know what it looks like, except it looks exactly like that, except nothing like that. I don't really know how to put it into words. It's like the moon itself didn't look like something was passing in front of the sun. It looked like there was a hole in the sun, and there was just this sparkling ring of light hanging at high noon in the darkness with this void in the center of it, and it was breathtaking. I understood why people would be afraid when they look at that if they had no idea what was going on. It sparkled, and it was so colorful. Like, there were pink and magenta prominences that you could see with your naked eye, and I swear that there were blues and greens as well, but I think that was like a trick of the mind playing off of the opposite colors. Like, it was incredible. And I don't know what else to say. Like, I wish that seeing it on video could capture it. I wish that this could be captured, but I don't know that it can. So that basically rewired my brain. And if you have an opportunity to go to the next eclipse, like if you were in Europe, somewhere, it's going to go through Iceland. I think it's also going to go through Spain. So if you are someplace that can easily take a holiday to those places in a couple of years, like, highly recommend that you take advantage of that, because it is, even if you're not a spiritual person, it is a spiritual experience. Like, it is beyond words. So then we drove home through some absolutely incredible mountains, and I went on nights for a week and was so exhausted afterwards that every time I tried to record this video, I just could not find the energy or the words, and so it had to wait a little while, and that's why it's late. So now that I have told that story, I am going to cut to some imagery of the ship in this silly little game that kind of inspired me to make this first post-eclipse video a Salvage Storytime. All right. So, since this is my Eclipse story time, we're gonna look at the Aegis Eclipse. It's in Hangar 5. So this is a stealth bomber, and it is a lot of fun. I don't know that we'll go out on a bombing run or anything. I've already got so much I want to put in this video. What hangar am I going to? Hangar 5. Here we go. This sucker. Which looks like a pterodactyl almost, with the way that the wings lift up. So we're gonna get inside, and I'm going to lift off and close the landing gear so you can see what it looks like when it's in flight. It is a beautiful ship. Bum bum bum. There we go. All right, here we go. This, unlike a lot of my other ships, it is really just forward looking. I have the Crusader Mercury Star Runner, which you will see in a little while. It has a really wide range of view. Like I can look up and see everything. Here I can just see my instruments. And I think that that's kind of reminiscent of bomber planes. So this is what she looks like with her landing gear up. Like, look at how beautiful this is. This is a nice ship. This is a sleek ship. I don't know if it's my favorite ship, but it's definitely like top 5. I love this ship. I love doing ERTs in this ship, which are the extreme risk targets. They're the space combat missions. And if you have this ship outfitted correctly, you can basically like zoom in, get a missile lock, fire, and zoom out, and nobody is the wiser. Like, yeah. She does have some like capability for firing regular guns, but let's see if I can. Oh, I probably can't, huh? Oh, I can. There we go. So there's the missiles. Whoops. So, yeah, look at that. And back up it go. It is so funny to me that that's the way the cockpit goes up. That's probably fine. Is it a pitot tube? What are you doing there? Got whiskers.
So this next section is kind of a train wreck. Feel free to skip. I'm just testing stuff out and trying to muddle my way through some different kinds of gameplay storytelling. If you want to see me be an absolute dunce, however, have I got a deal for you.
Do I have a helmet? I do not.
So, Star Citizen has been doing about a month of weekly priority quest drops, and up to this point, they'd been really fun and engaging, especially if you had a group going into it. So, I went into this one expecting FPS combat, because the mission was basically, go pick up these supplies on this moon and bring them back. And it was the first one that I was doing alone, so I missed the mark. And heavily overprepared. You'll see. Now, because I was expecting FPS combat and not ship combat, I went with a ship I had some experience flying around in that's not fragile exactly, but also isn't something you want to take into a dogfight. The Mercury Star Runner. This is Star Citizen's Millennium Falcon homage, and is actually the same ship model that I was salvaging earlier, and the one I mentioned in the cockpit of the Eclipse. I love this ship. I think it's also in my top 5. I love the way it's shaped, what it's intended for, and how I can completely ignore the ladder and elevator to get to the flight deck.
Yeah.
What I don't love is how many heckin' doors there are between the cargo ramp and the cockpit. And how the cargo ramp is the only way to get onto the ship. So the first step in all of these priority missions is actually getting the mission. They don't automatically show up when you log on, and how long it takes is sometimes kind of random.
I love the cockpit of the MSR. Just so much range of vision.
A friend of mine had to redo this particular one several times, and every time it showed up for him, it was on a different planet than the one I was on, so I figured I would head that way to get it.
Here we go.
Turns out, didn't need to.
Oh, there it is.
So off I go to take back some boxes. This is a variation of one of the main regular mission types, which everyone lovingly refers to as box missions. They can be pretty boring unless you do the criminal ones, like a crimey criminal. Now, once I got to the moon, I couldn't just quantum shift over to where the mission marker was, so I had a little bit of travel time. Travel time is always a significant chunk of gameplay, no matter what career path you're doing, and I really don't know how I feel about that. Thankful I enjoy most of the ship noises, at least. I also have mixed feelings about the cloud layers that most of the planets and moons have. It makes flying down to the surface kind of terrifying, especially when you've accidentally crashed into the surface more times than you want to admit to. I'm told it happens to everyone at least once, and I think it was to make me feel better. Anyways, when I got to the site, I had some aggressive contacts show up on the radar, but couldn't see any markers on my head, so figured I would land and hope they ignored a powered-off ship. I thought they might have been associated with someone else's bounty mission, because those can pop up anywhere. I still, at this point, am thinking that this is going to be FPS combat as I'm coming in for a landing. Now here's where I make my second mistake. I landed so far from the crash site that I was recovering boxes from. So far.
Okay.
I almost did not complete this mission because of this mistake, because I got so bored running back and forth to get the boxes onto my ship. Because, of course, I can only carry one box at a time.
Oh, God.
As you can see, something or someone started shooting at me pretty much as soon as I was ready to walk down the ramp. And I thought I was prepared for FPS combat, but I was not expecting them to be this far from the crash site I was supposed to be investigating. So I put on my big girl guns and went out to check it out.
Oh.
What I wasn't expecting to find was 3 Cutlass Blacks hanging motionless above my target. Well, not motionless for long. When they started shooting at little old me, who wasn't in her ship,
The fuck?
I had the great idea to run straight at them.
I don't like the way they're looking at my ship.
Instead of, like, back to my ship? Nah. At the time, it seemed rational. The server FPS was low, so the AI was going to be real bad at everything, or so I hoped, at least. In retrospect, this was so dumb. Especially because I still expected ground enemies to be over near my loot.
They're just hanging out up there, huh? Okay.
Thankfully, the Cuddies got bored or lost track of me fairly quickly, or just froze and went back to their creepy positioning, and I was free to discover just how far away I had parked.
Are there people here? I don't see anybody.
In the absence of people shooting at me, I inevitably got distracted. I even considered, for a long few moments, stealing some shoes from a dead NPC. Eventually I picked up the ammo box and began the long journey back to my ship. All while those Cuddies remained motionless above me. Like, you can see me look over my shoulder periodically to check to make sure that they haven't moved, or maybe hoping that they had disappeared, but nope, they were still there.
Oh, shit.
Turns out a reclaimer had joined them. Remember that, Tub?
Are there any more that I need to know about? Oh, hell.
Now, the rest of this really is just me running back and forth. With this first box, I come up to my ship and I forget how to throw it in. So I run inside and set it gently on the cargo deck.
And then yeet.
Okay, nobody seemed to have moved. Pull my gun out. Just in case.
And then it is 2 more trips of alternating between getting absolutely distracted by rocks.
And I was prepared for first-person combat, and I was wrong. I was so wrong. These guys are just waiting there. They're just sitting there. I don't like it. It's creepy. Stop it.
And getting distracted by, I wonder what happens when I shoot at a flying cutlass.
Anything?
Hey, knock it off!
The answer is nothing. They yell at you.
Okay, cool.
Now you might be asking why I left all of the last 2 boxes in here, and the answer is that especially when it's sped up and compressed, you can see me slowly start to unravel. I stop, I look around, I rant at the ships hanging above me, but mostly it's because I think that it's really funny listening to my frustration being played back at speed.
Alright, last one. I was walking on the moon one day, in the very merry month of May.
Now, if you are paying especially close attention, you might also see that I'm not really walking in a straight line, like ever. I just sort of meander. There's no good reason for this. It's just what happens in every game I play. At this point, I have also reverted to the MMO jump run, where you just tap the jump key over and over as you travel, because there's nothing else occupying you at the moment. And then it was done. It was free.
Got my stuff. Let's close this up so I don't have to worry about it.
Free to finish the box mission.
And get out of here before they start shooting. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when I took off, I was intent on getting out of there as fast as possible. I knew that I was going to basically be a sitting duck once I turned the ship on, because the shield basically had to charge from 0. I also wasn't really interested in a dogfight, so I headed back to the Pyro Gateway. Well, not really back, but I headed to the Pyro Gateway to turn in the boxes. And in this, we enter what I will call my struggle box era.
I'm not gonna crash. Probably. Unless I do that. Huh. Let's take the food first.
It certainly wasn't as long as the back and forth on the moon, where I had the
I'm sure that's fine.
the creepy peanut gallery.
Galleria. Hackers. Aha!
But the entire time,
Oh no, I didn't like that.
I was so nervous that some silly bug was going to undo all of my progress. Box missions are
Please?
rife with absolutely game-breaking, infuriating bugs.
Yay! Okay, so the ammunition crate also goes there.
And I was so worried that I was going to see them. And I almost did. I saw evidence of them having happened to other people.
I'm gonna get distracted by shopping, I know it.
I saw that terrifying graphic glitch with the first box.
No!
With this second box, it almost happened. This was almost the bug. This shipping terminal doesn't accept the box at first. And so I have to figure out
Listen, nobody's talking to you.
Another way.
What? Okay.
I try and put it on top because that's where the
Maybe up
objective marker is. But all that does is get it stuck.
Uh-oh.
And now I can't get it down.
Uh-oh.
And I can't reach it.
Uh-oh.
And I'm panicking.
Uh-oh.
Aha, but I can use their box.
Thank you, whoever left this here.
And because of the poor sods who came before me, I was able to get
Ha!
my ammo box and put it safely in the shipping terminal. And all was well. I cannot tell you how relieved I was when this worked. The last box was much less dramatic. I assumed that you would deliver medical supplies to the hospital, but that was wrong.
Okay, maybe I was wrong.
So I had to go find where they belonged, which turned out to be the second delivery terminal
Where you at, huh? You at the cargo center?
in the cargo center.
Why am I dropping off medical supplies at the cargo center?
And there was no drama with the terminal this time. So, just like that, it was done. And just like that, I can finally start to wrap up this video. I don't think I really knew what I was getting into when I decided that I would tell this story, which was really more of a story of opportunity and not really something that I planned out very much. I think that a different set of gameplay would probably be a lot more interesting to everybody, and I think I want to try and figure out a better framing device. We'll see what I can come up with. We'll see if something like this, maybe not this game, but something else shows up on my channel. I'll have to give it a good thought. Now I think I am going to put you back in the gentle hands of the version of me that existed before I went through all of this editing.
I hope that everyone has a safe and wonderful week, and that your April is going fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. I'm sure I will get to another Salvage Storytime at some point. Usually it's pen stuff. But there's no pen stuff this time. Next week will be paper, actually. And then the week after will be some inks. So, by next week I mean probably about 4 days from now. Alright, well, bye!